Hello from Portland. I'm in my basement because Chris is trying to put Carter to bed. I was going to talk about something else tonight, but I went over to a friend's house and we watched the Golden Globes, which we don't really care about as awards, but are fun to watch. And Jodie Foster got up to accept a sort of Lifetime Achievement Award and kind of came out. And I would ordinarily never comment on or have an opinion on anyone else's coming out process. Everyone comes out in their own way, in their own time, and all that. But when you choose to do it on an internationally televised broadcast, I think you're inviting a certain amount of public comment. And I'll preface this by saying I love Jodie Foster. I think she's immensely talented. I've always thought she was wonderful. And people have been talking since I can remember about, is Jodie Foster gay? That's been a pretty open question. In fact, I distinctly remember a friend of mine in law school who heard a rumor that Jodie Foster was gay, and he was really upset about it, as if it had any real effect on his chances of dating Jodie Foster, which were zero the day before and were just as much zero after he found out she was gay. But I have two issues with the speech. One is, I think if you're going to come out, you're going to say a lot of things, but one thing that's important to say is, I'm gay, or I'm a lesbian, or I'm bisexual. You need to say it. You don't need to use code words. You don't need to try to distance yourself from it or try to play games with it. You just need to say it as directly as you can. But what really bothered me about the speech is something that comes up a lot, is this idea that being gay is private. And of course, in one sense, you know, your relationships are your own business and they're private, and you certainly shouldn't disclose information about intimate relationships. But on the other hand, people talk about being married, they invite people to their weddings, they talk about their kids, they talk about their families. Those things are really not considered private in the sense of we don't speak about them in public. The way she spoke about coming out made it seem like it was a huge invasion of privacy just to acknowledge that you're gay. And I know that that was how people thought for a long time, but I really don't think it's how people think anymore. And I don't think it's how people should think. She basically said, I'm not Honey Boo Boo Child, as if the only alternative to secrecy is some weird reality show circus. Jodie Foster is a very well-educated woman and is certainly aware that that's not really a fair way to put the issue. There's nothing vulgar or unseemly or inappropriate about acknowledging the facts of your life. I was actually having a really good discussion earlier in the week in comments with Cher, who's also a Project 13er, and we were talking about reactions to being gay and how her gay friends were somewhat nervous about meeting her kids, and she thought that was silly. And I talked about something I'd noticed, which is that even people who are very gay-friendly, very open-minded, very tolerant, very progressive, all those things, when they're talking to kids or to older people, they develop a kind of body language, a kind of anxiety, like we're talking about a sort of difficult subject. And I think people pick up on that. They feel like, this is something to be ashamed of, or at least something to be worried about. And that's not the kind of impression that we want to be giving. I think in 2013, people should be able to be who they are, talk about who they are, and if they don't want to go into details, that's fine. No one's saying you have to put your whole life on display, but you should be who you are. And you shouldn't feel embarrassed or reluctant to acknowledge simple, basic facts about who you are and how you live and who you love. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.